but surely and is more of a leader. Clearly, Chris, a self-scout that's paying dividends on the field.
Thanks, Jed. It was his head coach, Ron Rivera, who's been with him through every game, that pointed to a game last year against Washington that turned the tide for Cam in his career and set him up for the run they're having this season. Ron Rivera, his team at 1.1-3, but they're going for a franchise equaling best 7 straight. And there is Coach Joe Philbin in his second season after a 7-win season last year in Miami. Graham Gano, he's been Mr. Touchback for the Panthers. Marcus Thigpen is deep. Game number 11 for the Panthers and Dolphins. And the Miami offense will come out and start on the 20-yard line. That offense led by Ryan Tannehill, 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Tim, 61% of his passes completed.
And he's got some pretty good weapons to throw to. I'm looking for Brian Hartline to have a bounce-back game today. Wasn't at his best last week against San Diego. He'll have an opportunity for some big plays today. Up front offensive line, Sam Brenner in there. Nate Garner, second week in a row, started center for Mike Pouncey. This group, Chris, will have their hands full against a very good front 7 right here in the box for the Carolina Panthers.
That is without Charles Johnson, their top quarterback sacker from the 20. Lamar Miller goes into a pile and he'll lose yardage. In fact, Mario Addison will start at defensive end in place of Johnson, who had that leg whip, that illegal leg whip that Marcus Cannon was fined for on Monday night against the Patriots.
I'll tell you where they've been really good. And Charles Johnson is the best player up front out. But these guys right here in the middle, the defensive tackles, outstanding. These two linebackers, Kuechly and Thomas Davis, have been nothing short of terrific. And Melvin White, and getting a lot of rookie contributions on the back end in this secondary for Ron Rivera. They played well. 2nd and 12 for Tannehill. Underneath the Hartline. He falls at the 25-yard line. Brian Hartline, 6 drops in the year, and you talked about him being the kind of the security blanket for Tannehill from last year and wanting to bounce back. Leads the team in receptions and yardage. I think one thing today, and looking at this Miami offense, is run after the catch will be a big number. Ryan Tannehill routinely is getting 5 out in the pass pattern. They've gone to the short passing game. The ability to break tackles will be a big number for Miami offensively today.
3rd and 5. Panthers threatening blitz from the 25. Time for Tannehill. Tipped and still tipped, and the Panthers come away with it. It's a takeaway for Carolina. Josh Thomas, the backup corner this season, after the ball was deflected numerous times, comes up with the interception.
Well, Thomas Davis is the one that got his hands up, and then that ball is a hot potato. It's in the air, and several guys tip it. Josh Thomas comes down with it. Critical area of the field for Miami to have a turnover, and Carolina just continues to do it. They're one of the best teams in the league at taking the ball away. That's their 15th interception.
15th straight game with a takeaway for the Panthers, and that brings Cam Newton out on the field. His numbers impressive. 16 touchdown passes to go with 4 touchdown runs and completing 63% of his throws. The defense setting up Carolina inside the 45 of Miami. Cam Newton throwing. Sidelines catch is made for a first down by Steve Smith. And Cam Newton slow to get up after getting hit hard. Defensive line, the core of the Miami team.
No, he just takes a shot right in the face right there from Cameron Wake.
Wake comes in with 6.5 sacks, leading that defensive line of Miami. After a 13-yard pickup from the 30, first down Panthers. D'Angelo Williams turns the corner down near the 20-yard line. You saw that close shot of Cam Newton on the lip. Looked like he had taken a shot right in the mouth on that previous play from Wake. And Nate Chandler moves in to start at right guard on the offensive line. And, of course, the star receivers LaFell, and we'll see Ted Ginn as well.
Yeah, and then up front on the offensive line, they have provided a lot of leadership. Jordan Gross consistent once again. Byron Bell, tough matchup today out there against Cameron Wake at times. And I'll tell you what, yeah, Cam doesn't look right. Just looking at his face after taking that shot right in the face from Cameron Wake. And call a timeout.
Well, remember, the NFL has a protocol. If in case there is suspicion of a concussion, they have somebody that will ask certain questions on the sideline to see if they need to advance the issue.
And you see him spitting blood right there. It's clear that was a helmet-to-helmet shot from Cameron Wake. You said it.
Tim Ryan, Chris Myers back in Miami after the Carolina timeout from the Miami 22. Cam Newton back in 2nd and 2, handing off to D'Angelo Williams near the first down. But Tim, let's look at that play because it looked like it could have been a penalty on the shot that Cam Newton took from Cameron Wake.
Well, there's no doubt it's a penalty as Cameron Wake comes off here. You see the crown of his helmet right in the face of Cam Newton. But I'll give Scott Green a pass. And if you're sitting at home wondering how does the referee not see that, well, he's blocked by the size of Cam Newton, and that's one of the issues with that position. In that kind of hit, it's hard for Scott Green to really see it because he couldn't see through Cam Newton to Cameron Wake.
Cam Newton at 6'5". First down from the 20. Panthers after the interception on the move. Saw Cam clapping for the snap. It looked like we had a timeout called before there was a
timeout. Carolina.
Yeah,
this
Steve
is their
Smith.
second charge timeout.
Steve Smith
it's a
got it.
30-second timeout.
Right at the last second.
So they wouldn't have a penalty for delay of game. So now they've used 2. They have 1 timeout remaining here in the first half. This Panther team in the regular season, in the history, they have never beaten the Dolphins, going 0-4. But this is a different Panther team than we've seen in the first 2.5 years of the Cam Newton, Ron Rivera run.
Well, I think they're finally figuring it out that it's the ultimate team sport. And Ron Rivera's message seems to be now, let's win situations. Let's not necessarily, because we all know they can play with anybody. They've done that the last 3 years, but let's not necessarily win every play. Let's win the game. Connect the dots to how good you are on defense and special teams with your offense.
They've won the close games, including the last couple of weeks at home on Monday night against the Patriots and then on the road in San Francisco. Miami has played close games at home.
And this is an area here in scoring position where on this 6-game winning streak, they've been lethal, Carolina.
Pass is incomplete inside the 15 towards Steve Smith. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break. Kurt?
Well, Chris, I think you and Tim saw Tavon Austin's last game. He scored 3 touchdowns of more than 50 yards against Indy. Third play from scrimmage today against the Bears, a couple of good downfield blocks, and he scored from 65 yards out on the pitch. They lead at 7-0 in the first quarter over Chicago, Chris and Tim.
That's right, Kurt. We did see that spectacular run. That's the game Howie Long is watching his sons Kyle and Chris play. And Kurt will keep us updated on all the games throughout the afternoon. Hand off to Mike Tolbert, the fullback. It'll bring a 3rd down.
And they are going to be tested, Miami, on defense all day today. I mean, they are going to have to prove, Chris, and the defensive line's the strength of this group. They're going to have to prove they can stop the run. Carolina runs it more than they throw it. They're committed to the run game, and Joe Philbin knows his defense in the last 4 games, they've been gassed.
And Carolina, during their 6-game winning streak in the red zone, they have been money. It's 3rd and 7.
Watch out for Cam Newton's legs with this man covered.
For LaFell, Cam Newton knocked down again. Cameron Wake in his wake. And field goal unit lining up.
Cameron Wake coming from the left side of your screen on Byron Bell. Talked about that being a good matchup. And just as Cam Newton unloads it, good legal hit there from Cameron Wake.
35-yard field goal try for Graham Gano. He made his first 12 in a row to start the season. Missed from 48. Has made his last 2. It's blocked. Rolling at the 31-yard line and going out of bounds. A special teams success for Miami.
Boy, hard to see. It was right up the gut where the penetration came from. What a victory for the defense. Come in that situation after a turnover, shut him down and block a field goal.
Graham Gano kicked the ball into, it looked like one of his own linemen pushed back on the rush from Miami. First block of the year for the Dolphins at a field goal unit. First down from just across their own 30. Marcus Thigpen checks in. He's in the slot to the right of Tannehill. And through his hands, it'll be second down 10. Let's take a closer look, Tim, at what happened on Gano's block. Brad Nortman, the holder.
And it looked like the ball comes out so low on the trajectory, it hits J.J. Jansen right in the back. Nobody for Miami blocked it. I mean, that just hits Jansen, it looked like, right on the nameplate. Maybe Travell Wharton, who was in there at left guard. Either way, that is a missed kick from Graham Gano. Hit it way too low.
Third time in Gano's career he's had a kick block. Straight ahead is Lamar Miller. It'll bring up third down. Greg Hardy making the tackle. Hardy, who will move around on the defensive line, especially a little more with Charles Johnson out of the game today. He comes in with 6 sacks, very versatile, can play either end. Sometimes Ron Rivera moves him inside. And now from the 30, we'll see where he sets up.
Look, Miami, 4 sacks a game. They lead the league, 41 sacks. These are the situations, third and long, they do not want to be in.
Need to get to the 41. And he goes down. Mario Addison from the other side in place of Charles Johnson with the sack.
And Addison's just going to use a speed rush and run right around Bryant McKinney. McKinney really struggled against San Diego, gave up a couple of sacks, and I mean, it looked like if he would have thought about finishing and tried to recover on Addison, he could have pushed him by Tannehill and given Tannehill a little more time. It's like he just quit on the play. Good job by Addison.
42 sacks now. That's nearing a Dolphin record for a quarterback. That's the most in the NFL. And here's Brandon Fields, who leads in gross yards and punting, just over 49 a boot. And former Dolphin Ted Ginn has it. Straight ahead. Now to the right side. Back to the middle goes Ginn. Weaving his way inside the 43 of Miami. And Brandon Fields had to keep him from getting more.
Ted Ginn is bursting with confidence in every phase of his game. Fun to watch. Nice return.
Ted Ginn with a season-long 41-yard punt return. His first trip back to Miami, where, of course, he was selected by the Dolphins out of Ohio State after a stop in San Francisco. Coming off a big game. He called it his biggest moment Monday night against New England. Cam Newton, the screen to D'Angelo Williams. Excellent blocking. He's inside the 30 of Miami for a Carolina first down.
That is a great play call from Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, and really caught Miami in a safety blitz. Watch right here as Chris Clemens is going to come off the edge, and then D'Angelo Williams just going to slip right by him. The timing was perfect. Good block downfield from Ryan Khalil. Getting close to right back in scoring position.
Gain of 13 at the 29, first down. Again at the bottom of your screen. Straight ahead Williams. The Carolina Panthers, when it comes to controlling the clock, they've done that. They also know how to finish drives. They don't just get field goals. Look at that, Tim, the 8 touchdowns in that time. And it, obviously, as we saw on Monday night, it limits the amount of time the other team has the ball.
And there's 2 ways to limit opportunities for the other team. Number 1 is takeaways, and we've already seen one today, and Carolina's great at doing that on defense. And then just controlling the clock, which, looking at that graphic, you can see they've been outstanding in that area.
2nd and 8. Cam Newton is in trouble. Can he get away? No. Eventually, Olivier Vernon caught up with him and brought him down.
The athleticism, first it's Cameron Wake coming around the corner, and Cam Newton's able to see him at the last second and shake him right there. But watch the effort of number 50, Olivier Vernon. who just tracks Cam Newton the whole way, closes the gap on him, and forces a really long third down. They are all over Cam Newton early in this game.
Dolphin coaches voted Vernon and Grimes their players of the game last week in the victory here against San Diego. A third down and 15. Cam Newton is going to get rid of it. Jared Odrick putting the pressure on this time.
Tell you what you want to see now for Miami. It's all been great. They've been whipping the guys one-on-one up front, finish, and get Cam Newton to the ground. And all of a sudden, those pressures become huge sacks.
Graham Gano, who had his 35-yarder block, will try from 52. Now, this is his area. 5 for 5 from beyond 50 this season. He holds the Carolina team record for most 50-yarders. And this time it's right through. The Panthers, who have dominated the first quarter during their win streak, lead in Miami 3-0. We welcome you back here in South Florida. That defensive line of the Dolphins has gotten to Cam Newton. It's only 3-0 Panthers. Graham Gano ready to kick it off, and Marcus Thigpen will have a chance. He's going out of the end zone with it. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers enjoying the game so far. Well, we knew that the Panthers had allowed the fewest points per game, just over 13 to lead the NFL. But this Dolphin defense hanging in there, even though they've been put in a tough spot. The Miami offense has yet to do anything.
Well, and Carolina's only given up 8 first-quarter points all season long. They've been outstanding starting games. But the story so far is Miami's defense. You're absolutely right. The way they came on the field after the turnover, they were able to force a field goal opportunity. They block it. They are all over Cam Newton.
Tannehill with a quick drop and throw. Hartline has it near the 45-yard line for a Miami first down.
Carolina jumping in man coverage. Here it is right here on the outside. Melvin White, the rookie, already in a trail position right from the get-go, and that's a good read and an accurate throw from Ryan Tannehill, and they're to the hurry-up offensively.
At the line from the 44 after a 21-yard pickup.
Go, go!
Daniel Thomas. And Melvin White was the guy who got worked on Monday night at the corner. We may see a little more of Josh Thomas worked into that secondary. Thomas had the interception early from Tannehill.
Boy, you look at this right here. There's a good down block by Sims. You got right here Daniel Thomas, Quentin Michael. Look at the huge hole right there to the right. You make one good cut on Quentin Michael, you may go the distance. Not good vision there by Daniel Thomas.
28, Joker.
Tannehill rolling for Mike Wallace. He's got it. Touchdown Dolphins.
I know one thing, Mike Wallace has no problem getting open, and this is all Mike Wallace, because this isn't a great throw from Ryan Tannehill. Watch how he leaves Captain Muddlin with a little stutter and go. Got the hand up, underthrown. He comes back to it. Great adjustment, outstanding catch. Touchdown.
The second touchdown catch is a Dolphin for the free agent signee from the Steelers. 53 yards, his longest touchdown reception from Tannehill. And the Panthers, who had not given up a touchdown this year in the opening quarter, have given up one here. In fact, they've only given up one touchdown in the first half in the first 10 games, but the Dolphins get one here. Mike Wallace, Ryan Tannehill, the longest touchdown pass of the season for the Dolphins. And Tannehill, who's had trouble on the deep ball, his coach reminded him this week, just throw it as if the guy's covered. Don't leave it short. Caleb Sturgis kicking off, and look out. They won't give Ted Ginn a chance to return. This week on College Football Saturday, 28th meeting between Notre Dame and Stanford. As the Cardinals continuing their bid for a BCS berth. Fighting Irish hoping to cap their regular season with an upset win. Coverage beginning Saturday, 6:30 Eastern only on Fox. And the Carolina defense that has had its way in the month of November.
Well, they're dealing with speed in this game from Mike Wallace. That they don't have a guy back there that can run with Mike Wallace. It's really that simple. That was a great play. I mean, that was not a good throw. Let's see. Nobody's happier right now than Ryan Tannehill that his receiver came down with it on the big hookup.
Cam fakes and throws. That's Greg Olsen who gets to the 24-yard line. Colomisi making the tackle. Ron Rivera alerted his team, and he said this kind of game concerns me. We have to handle success. A short week. We're coming here to face a team that's played very, very well at home. They've handled their problems, and he told the Panthers about that.
And Ron knows it, and you just said it. Short week. 2 big signature wins. Short week. Are they ready physically? And right now, Miami, certainly right here with this group, they're winning the matchup at the line of scrimmage.
LaFell in the backfield. The handoff to Stewart, Jonathan Stewart. And it'll bring up 3rd down. Well, Ron Rivera said Monday night right away, and you could hear even the players repeating it, forget about this game. We've got to go forward. That's one thing to say it. It's another thing to feel it. Meanwhile, Joe Philbin told us that his Wednesday practice, his primary practice, he gives the Dolphins Thursdays off, was one of the best practices of the year for his team.
I'll tell you what, I give Coach Philbin a lot of credit. All the distractions and all the issues up front with the offensive line, and his team has played some pretty good football. They've won 2 of the last 3.
Nolan Carroll lines up on LaFell, top of your screen. Steve Smith and Ted Ginn, bottom of your screen. 3rd and 3. Cam Newton. Incomplete. He felt the pressure.
We talked to Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator, the other day, and he said, you know what, we may have to lay off some of the pressure because of Cam Newton and his legs and his ability to hurt you. Randy Stark's a little shaken up there, but he has not called off anything. He has brought the heat and have gotten all over Cam Newton.
Marcus Thigpen back to return for Miami. Brad Nortman ready to punt it. 4:15 here in the opening quarter. Thigpen has 1 career punt return for a touchdown. That was close to being blocked. They've already had a field goal block. Thigpen has room. Excellent return. There is a flag down as he goes down at the 41-yard line. A 52-yard punt and a 19-yard return. Our referee is Scott Green. He's a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. for criminal justice agencies. But focusing on the flag here. We want you to know you're official.
Well, last time he was here, he refereed a Super Bowl, Scott Green.
Holding. Kicking team. Number 10. Number 56. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll add 10 yards to the end of the play. 1st down.
That's A.J. Klein.
Here's Klein here, left tackle on the punt team. And he's got his hands full. And he just gets drove to the ground and pulls the rusher down with him.
Mike Wallace goes to the bottom of your screen. He had the touchdown catch already in Carolina territory after the penalty. Puts it at the 49. Tannehill's going to keep it. And slide. Luke Kuechly, who leads the NFL in tackles, knocked him down after he slid.
And I think the Dolphin fans would love to see more of that from Ryan Tannehill. I was talking to Jeff Ireland down on the field. He said, look, I clocked this guy, the general manager. He said, I clocked this guy 4.57 at the combine. He can run. And crossing the line of scrimmage is a huge weapon for Ryan Tannehill. Needs to do it more.
Go! 2nd and 5 to give to Thomas. That'll bring up 3rd down. The Dolphins, remember, had just 2 yards rushing against Tampa Bay. And then last week at home, they, as a combined rushing attack, went over 100 yards, averaged better than 5.5 or close to that per carry. And that was something that they wanted to do coming into this game, which is tough against this defensive line.
Well, it's tough when you got so many moving parts up front with new offensive linemen. I mean, they need to find chemistry in the run game. It's harder than finding it in the pass game as offensive linemen.
No Mike Pouncey at center, second straight game. Pass incomplete. Rashard Matthews, the target, was a little bit off target, and it'll be fourth down. Captain Munnerlyn came in to put pressure on Tannehill.
Still could have been caught, though, by Rashard Matthews, because Tannehill hangs in there just long enough as he's going to get blasted right here by Captain Munnerlyn. Unloads the ball just out of the reach. That would have been a tough catch.
There's Brandon Fields. You know, Captain Munnerlyn was said, this team, this locker room, no letdown is possible after what we've been through the last 2.5 years.
A lot of young players on that defense that haven't been through any of that.
Fair catch, Ted Ginn, right around the 7-yard line. Panthers on offense trailing by 4, and our aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. So far, no rain, although you never know when a shower will pop up here in South Florida. We're just down the road from Chaminade-Madonna High School, where John Beeson actually went to school. We're on the Dade-Broward County line. Beeson, since traded to the Giants, has had a positive impact for them, and the Panthers have taken off as well.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers haven't. Well, they lost the one because he went before the Arizona game, their last loss for the Carolina Panthers. Beeson's been a nice addition for the Giants.
Tim, you talked about it at the top of the show. Cam Newton, he had 3 interceptions in that Arizona game, the last loss for Carolina. He's only had a total of 3 the entire 6-game winning streak. Taking care of the football. From the 8-yard line, pass is caught by Steve Smith, puts a move on, and gets a first down. Staying inbounds.
I'm looking forward to this matchup today. Steve Smith, year number 13, against Brent Grimes, number 21, the best corner for the Miami Dolphins. What a wicked move right there by Steve Smith.
And Smith was the guy after that loss to the Cardinals, called an impromptu meeting after a Wednesday practice, took responsibility for a drop pass, said to everybody there'll be changes if we don't start winning at 1-3. They listened. Jonathan Stewart looking for a hole, can't really find one. Philip Wheeler making the tackle.
These linebackers playing well so far, Wheeler and Donnell Ellerby, and they've got their hands full today, and I'll tell you why. You got 2 different style of backs, really 3 if you include Tolbert with Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. Then you got all the read zone plays. We haven't seen any of that yet from Cam Newton. You got Cam Newton as a scrambler. These linebackers are going to have to be on point.
Second down 7 now. They put all the receivers to the right side of Cam Newton. Top of your screen. Set up that way. Pass is caught by Ted Ginn, who's near a first down. Got a few blocks out there.
His short area quickness. I mean, we all know he's got the long speed, but that cut right there was ridiculous. And Jimmy Wilson's almost, he recognized it, almost gets his hand on it. He doesn't. Now this move right here, whoom, right to the outside. Just short of the line to gain.
That Dolphins secondary, again without Dimitri Patterson, who leads the team in interceptions, hurt his groin last week. He's been in and out of the lineup quite a bit.
And I know Ted Ginn is kicking himself right there. If he'd have just reached that football out, he could have had an easy first down.
3rd and 1. Cam Newton has it and has room if he can get outside. Being chased. He dives toward the first down. It was Olivier Vernon who was trying to run him down. And that extra lunge by Cam Newton. Did he get enough for the first?
Well, it doesn't look like his knee was down before that ball.
He got it. First down, Panthers.
Yeah, Jared Odrick, the Miami defenders are over there thinking that maybe his knee was down before he reached out and picked up the first down, but it didn't look like the case.
Something that the Dolphins could challenge if they want, but the first quarter in Miami, the Panthers going for 7th straight, Dolphins trying to win their third consecutive game at home. But a touchdown strike from Tannehill to Wallace has the Dolphins leading Cam Newton and the Panthers 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. You're watching Fox NFL Sunday. We start the second quarter, and Joe Philbin decided to challenge the spot, ruled a first down run by Cam Newton on third down. There's Scott Green saying we'll take a closer look. And Joe Philbin this season.
Miami is challenging the previous play.
Joe Philbin is 3 out of 3 on replay challenges this year.
I think he's going to be 4 out of 4. So the contact forces Cam Newton down, and it looks like the knee and the thigh were down before that ball gets across the line to gain.
Joe Philbin's challenge of the first down run. Scott Green.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback's knee was down short of the 30-yard line. It'll be fourth down on the 29 3/4 yard line. Miami is not charged with a timeout.
And you could see it right there. I mean, the players knew what they were talking about. Just watch the right leg as it touches the grass right there, and the ball short of the 30-yard line.
Mike Pereira, our rules analyst, saying all you need is that tip of the ball to get to the 30, but it didn't.
That tip didn't get there.
His knee was down, so a great challenge by the Dolphins. It really swings things as the Panthers set up to punt. Brad Nordman. Marcus Thigpen. And he'll get knocked down right around the 20-yard line. Josh Thomas making the tackle as Cam Newton and the Carolina offense held to just a field goal so far. Fox tomorrow, don't miss the show the critics are raving about. Almost Human is gripping, groundbreaking as one of TV's most irresistible duos. An all-new episode of Almost Human tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. They spot the ball at the 21-yard line. Lamar Miller the back.
I'm just waiting for Charles Clay, who's lined up, looks like here in the backfield, to start to heat it up. He is a very good player, number 42.
Tannehill to throw. Sideline open. That's Wallace. Catch made inside the 25. Again, he had to wait for the ball, and again, he beat Captain Munnerlyn.
Even in off coverage, I mean, his speed is wicked. A little stop and go again. He turns on the jets. And for the second time in this game, he's got to slow down and wait for it. For the second time in this game, he makes a great adjustment and comes down with a big catch. Let's see if he maintains control all the way down. He did. That left knee was on the ground before the ball ever started to get jarred loose.
Wallace being helped off the field by the medical staff of the Dolphins after a 57-yard catch that he had to go back or hold up to grab. Again, the ruling on the field is catch, so if
I don't think Ron Rivera can challenge this and use his third timeout and burn him for the first half.
we only have one remaining.
That's right. Left knee is down before that ball ever starts to come out.
Signal to play on.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike Wallace, he's got no problem getting open on the go routes. It's been, sometimes Tannehill, sometimes his drops. It's good to see him get it going here today.
Third 100-yard receiving game of the season. We are going to get a challenge now, and it comes from Ron Rivera on the Panthers sideline.
Wait, I don't think that's a good challenge with this much time left here in the second quarter.
Dolphins won their challenge, so they have 2 more that they can push. For Rivera, he's on replay challenges you see this season, just 1 out of 5. Mike Wallace, who when he was with the Steelers, Tim, in 4 seasons.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field on the last play.
In 4 seasons, he had 32 touchdowns as a member of the Steelers. He had 1 coming into today and has 1 more. 2 total for Miami. Ruling on the field is catch made by Mike Wallace for 57 yards, challenged by the Panthers.
And you got to have firm grasp or grip on the ball, and then there's an element of time to start a football move. That to me looked like a catch.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Carolina will be charged with their third and final timeout.
And they're only allowed one challenge now. So, Tim, there wasn't enough visual evidence on the replay angles to overturn that.
And I think there was enough visual evidence to clearly say that it was a catch. I mean, he had a good grip on the ball and then basically 3.5 steps before he went down, and the knee was clearly down before the ball came out.
No timeouts for Carolina. Wallace on the sideline. Marlon Moore is in for him. And off Lamar Miller. It's down inside the 18-yard line of the Carolina Panthers. Tannehill 4 out of 7, over 135 yards and a touchdown. Also suffered an interception. Second down, 6. From the 18.
George, 58. Hey, I'm going. Yeah, you. Come on. Hey. 28, go.
Tannehill's pass incomplete. Receiver wasn't ready for it. It was Rashard Matthews. And on that offensive line, Tim, Sam Brenner, the free agent who had to move to left guard because Nate Garner moved over for Pouncey. He's going up against Star Lou Tolele. They spent 3 years working against each other in Utah.
Yeah, that's right. And as Coach Philbin said, and Rashard Matthews wasn't ready. That's a good job by Luke Kuechly baiting that blitz and then getting into the throwing lane. But as Coach Philbin said, he did it in practice. Hopefully he can do it on Sunday. That Brenner matchup.
Mike Wallace checks back in for the Dolphins. Tannehill the other way. Completes. That's Marcus Thigpen down around the 15-yard line. Thomas Davis, who had 17 tackles last Monday night, making the stop, and it'll be 4th down to the field goal unit, trots out for the Dolphins.
That's one thing. Talked about running after the catch for Miami being a big number. Offensive line, other than the one sack, is actually held up pretty decent. It'll be hard against those linebackers, though, to break tackles. Kuechly and Thomas Davis, some of the best in the business.
He made his first 10 field goals, then went 1 for 6. This will be from 32 yards. Now he's made 7 in a row. The rookie from Florida gives the Dolphins a 7-point lead. Ron Rivera out of timeouts and trailing in Miami. We welcome you back to South Florida, where the young Panther defense, they came in with the #1 defense in the league, allowing just 13.5 points a game. Miami already with 10 points on the board. And in the end zone, Carolina will take over at the 20-yard line, trailing by 7. Tim, are you a little bit surprised that the Panthers in this game so far have thrown it more than they've run it?
Absolutely. I mean, number one, Cam Newton's been under duress and pressure throughout this game. 17 plays. They've thrown it 10 times. They've run it 7. And I know Miami's good up front, but Carolina has been committed in this 6-game winning streak to running the football. And frankly, they just haven't done it. They haven't gone to it. They need to get back to it.
They'll have a chance. Of course, Cam Newton getting hit 6 times early in the game. He's yet to really take off and run other than that 3rd down try, which was reversed. And they did not get the first down. He's ready to throw. From behind. He's going down. The rookie, Deion Jordan, the 3rd overall pick, closes fast on Cam Newton.
But Cam Newton just doesn't seem as fast today as he typically is running away from guys. And I know Deion Jordan's a good athlete, but Cam just a little lackadaisical, just floating out, looking for guys to flash open. And the rookie runs him down from behind for his 2nd sack.
We saw Olivier Vernon run down Cam Newton as well.
It just doesn't seem to be a sense of urgency right now from the Carolina Panthers.
Second and 18. Newton's throw is incomplete, way off the mark of Steve Smith. When it's come to 3rd down, Cam Newton has felt the pressure from this Dolphin defense.
Look, and if you're going to chop the head off the dragon, you got to pressure him, and that's what they've done to Cam Newton on 3rd down. They have yet to convert a 3rd down in this game. They've this game, Chris. He's the best third down quarterback in the NFL.
Cam Newton has all day and goes underneath to the fullback Tolbert, and it'll be 4th down. The Dolphins came into this game 5-5 as Marcus Thigpen is getting ready to return. They've won 2 of their last 3 amidst all the things surrounding their team.
They are totally controlling the Carolina Panthers offense in the first half of this game.
And they've won their last 2 at home. Brad Nortman. Marcus Thigpen pedaling backward inside the 15 of Miami. He's got room. Here comes a flag. He's tackled at the 27. Dolphins, one of the least penalized teams in the NFL. They've had one that's been accepted today.
Holding, receiving team during the return. Half the distance to the goal. First down. Timeout.
We didn't get a number from Scott Green, but that's a career-long punt for Nortman of 72 yards, and the penalty puts Miami back a bit. Hello, with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and Cletus enjoying the game. He knows where there's a big game in town. We'll follow him all the way to the Super Bowl. You'll see it on Fox and from New Jersey in February. He wants to see how Tannehill plays this with a 10-3 advantage backed up at the Dolphin 10. Whistle.
False start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Nate Garner, who had to move to center. And it's amazing with the offensive line losing 3 starters over the last couple of weeks, how they have been able to keep it together. I'm sorry, they call on John Jerry, not Nate Garner.
No, it is. You're absolutely right. And that loss right there may be the biggest. And Mike Pouncey, this is his 2nd consecutive game missed. Nate Garner, a bit of a jack of all trades, though, has played every position along the front, has filled in admirably.
Tannehill keeps it and falls down at the 5-yard line. The Panthers were ready for that. Frank Alexander, one of the defensive linemen in on the rotation, makes the stop. Let's check in on the field with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, when the game started, it was 80 degrees and blazing sunny. Now the rain is starting to come down and the wind is picking up. Much cooler for the players, but we'll have to see if those wind conditions bother them at all, Chris.
And this field, not a problem. In fact, it's they re-sod it after the big soccer game here, and have only had a couple of games, including the University of Miami. So the turf in good shape. Tannehill from his end zone, on target. Charles Clay's first catch of the game, but short of the first down. Clay coming up,
puts him in a 3rd manageable.
His best game of the season was last week against the Chargers.
He is such a good player, Chris, and they use him everywhere. He'll play fullback, he'll play H-back, he'll play end-man on the line as a tight end. They'll split him out wide and try to get him matchups. Probably the thing that he does best, you didn't get to see it there against that zone, is run after the catch.
3rd and 4. Top of your screen is Mike Wallace. Captain Munnerlyn is not covering him. Tannehill floats one, and will do it. Lamar Miller.
Boy, what a nice read, number 1, and then throw from Ryan Tannehill. Lamar Miller on the wheel route against a defensive end, Greg Hardy. Tannehill sees it right away, lofts it up, puts a lot of air under the ball, and then just drops it right in the bucket. Good throw.
You talked about manageable. They convert an 18-yard gain. First down from the 34-yard line.
Go!
Hand off Miller. At Panthers swarm him inside the 35. Joel Klatt has a game break. Joel, what's going on?
Hey, Chris, let's go up to Detroit. Matt Stafford to the corner of the end zone. That's big. Joseph Fourier, 11 catches on the year, 6 of them for touchdowns. Chris, Tim, all he does is catch touchdowns and then dance. It's 14-10 Detroit over Tampa Bay.
And the standings in the NFC North. Tampa Bay next up for the Panthers. The Bucs next Sunday will play in Carolina.
28, go!
Second and 9, Tannehill. Complete. Marlon Moore.
You got to appreciate the way Ryan Tannehill is using his legs today to extend plays, keep his eyes down the field. Mario Addison flushes him right here out of the pocket. Keeps his eyes down the field. Marlon Moore flashes open, and another completion for a first down for Tannehill.
And from the 44-yard line, the Dolphins go right to the line. Lamar Miller the back. Miller the carry and goes down. Tim, how much do the Panthers, how much are they missing Charles Johnson and his 8.5 sacks?
Well, I think Addison has done a good job rushing the passer for Charles Johnson, and they haven't been able to get a lot of runs going, that being Miami, and that's where I feared they would really miss Charles Johnson, who's also an outstanding run defender, but haven't been hammered yet in that area.
Right channel! Right channel!
Offside. Defense. Unabated to the quarterback. Number 41. Also 96 was offsides. That penalty is declined. Second down.
Right channel! Right channel!
Love young quarterbacks with good hard counts, and Ryan Tannehill has that.
Light rain continuing to fall. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 48 of Carolina. Tannehill's throw. Richard Matthews has it. And Captain Munnerlyn with a tackle to make a 3rd down.
Yeah, Captain Munnerlyn was all over that one. Man coverage on Richard Matthews. He sees right away Tannehill's going there, and he just puts his foot on the gas pedal and gets a big tackle for loss.
Captain at 5'8", came up big. Captain his given name. And now a 3rd down after a loss of 4. See if he lines up where Mike Wallace, who is in the slot.
Keep your eyes right here on Charles Clay. Kuechly's going to pop out and try to cover him.
Can you go?
Tannehill out of the pocket on the run. Almost picked off. Robert Lester had it, ran into Drayton Florence. And Lester's laid out. Sounded rough, and Lester, the free agent from Alabama.
And you could see Drayton Florence did not see Robert Lester until the last second and then dipped his head. He's lucky he wasn't injured on the play.
Lester had the game-closing interception on Monday night. Let's listen. They're playing on a pass that probably should have ever been thrown because there was no way it was going to get to the receiver. Looks like we'll get a check from Jennifer Hale down on the field as they get to the sideline, and Ted Ginn Jr. back for Brandon Fields. And at the 5-yard line, after a 46-yard punt, the Panthers will take over on offense. The Dolphins not at awe of Cam Newton and the streaking Carolina Panthers. playoff picture. Carolina in terrific position. They'll play the Saints twice over the final 5 games of the season.
They still got an opportunity to win this division.
They've already beaten San Francisco. Now, they did lose to Arizona if you get into tiebreakers. A lot of football to be played and a lot to be decided, but both of these teams and their fans know that their team is in position. They control their own fate. Miami plays the Jets twice. Jonathan Stewart is shoved back.
They can't block the defensive line of the Miami Dolphins.
That was Jared Odrick that time.
They can't do it. And Miami, who have been slammed on the ground game over the last 4 games, they've gotten it right so far today, both stopping the run and getting after the quarterback.
And that's something Ron Rivera said, the winning can mask some of your deficiencies. He said, we have not run the ball well. Cam Newton has run it just once, and that was for that no gain. Across the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. The Panthers, though, have played this kind of game, Tim. They've been careful. They're in the game. They don't want to turn it over. They've won a close game at San Francisco out on the road. Here comes Ted Gibbs.
And they are just stacking the running box on Ron Rivera's offense right now and not giving up any running lanes for the Carolina Panthers, which means a lot of one-on-one opportunities. Give Cam Newton a little bit of time, and he should be able to exploit that.
Newton throws, and it was tipped. It's 4th down.
Looks like Philip Wheeler right there, 52, got his hand on it. Miami is on point. I mean, you just watch them, and it's almost as if Kevin Coyle anticipated sprint out protection. The whole line runs to the right. There's the breakup right there, the tip, but the whole defensive line saw it right away, and they flowed in the same direction.
He was trying to get it to Ted Ginn. There's Thigpen ready to return the punt of Nortman, who's standing in his own end zone. And I mean in the back of it. His last punt was 72 yards. Plenty of room. The Panthers swarm in a hurry. Coming up next on Fox, an NFC East battle as Tony Romo and the Cowboys take on Eli Manning and the Giants. It's America's game of the week. Our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues, and that's coming up after this when you talk about playoff teams in that NFC East. How about the Giants after their rough start?
Unbelievable. 4 consecutive wins, playing better on defense. A little bit of a running game with Andre Brown, and Eli Manning's not turning it over like he was early in the year.
And Robert Lester back in. The defensive back, number 38, who went down injured, who's been key with 3 interceptions for the Panthers this year. On 1st down, Tannehill. It's a hard line. He breaks the tackle to the 35 of Carolina.
They're killing the man coverage right now by the Carolina Panthers. Great adjustment by the wide receivers. Recognizing man coverage. They run a little crossing route. You'll see it right here. Rashard Matthews and Brian Hartline. The defenders run into each other. Well-executed play.
Lamar Miller. Ryan Tannehill, 10 out of 15. He's just under 200 yards passing. And if you weren't with us earlier, the touchdown to Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace has 2 catches for 110 receiving yards. And he's at the top of your screen. Underneath, Michael Agnew, the reserve tight end.
Tell you what, the offensive line has been impressive for the Miami Dolphins so far. You think of all the sacks they've given up this year. Got 3 moving parts with 3 basic backup players out there starting. Against this group of pass rushers, they are without Charles Johnson. They have held their own today, this Miami front.
Johnson with a right knee brace on crutches earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Inactive today. 3rd and 3. Floating it, and a little too much for Charles Clay. Missed opportunity for Tannehill. That time we worry about his underthrows, or at least the Dolphins have. An overthrow there brings out the field goal kicker.
And here's Clay here. It would have had to be a great throw because they rushed 3. You got 8 guys in coverage for the Carolina Panthers. Looks like Charles Clay and Tannehill weren't on the same page. He broke off his route, and Tannehill threw it right down the middle of the field.
From 47 yards, he will try. Sturgis made from 32. Another one. The underdog Dolphins have expanded their lead over the Panthers. 13-3 as we near the half. What's Kurt Menefee have coming up?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Randy Moss is in for Howie, so brace yourself for another Steelers-Browns rivalry game. And the Jets will try to hold up the final playoff spot in the AFC. And more suspender references, all coming up on the Visa halftime.
So brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
But I wonder the boots, why Terry away his boot, because you know that when they start talking, it does pile up in there.
Fire Marshal Terry.
Fire Marshal Terry. Well, the Jets, who the Dolphins play next, are trailing at Baltimore 9-3 at the half. Tampa Bay has gone ahead of Detroit by 3, and that's who the Panthers will get next. You get highlights of all that and what Kurt and the guys have for you. The Rams leading the Bears. Ted Ginn back to receive if he has the opportunity. Those total yards. Rather impressive for the Dolphins. Miami also has overtaken the time of possession here in the first half. We showed you the Panthers view in the NFC playoff picture here in week 12. In the AFC, Tim, you see that tiebreaker right now. The Jets own it over Miami, but they play each other twice before the season winds down, and obviously the advantage over those 4 and 6 teams.
Yeah, all those teams in the hunt. You got tiebreakers and scenarios that are going to certainly work themselves out. How about a 9-1 team right now sitting in a wild card spot at number 5, Kansas City?
And you made the point earlier, Ron Rivera should not have challenged and lost that last timeout. They've burned him, so Carolina, no timeouts. Just over 2 minutes to play in the first half.
Maybe you start moving Cam Newton around the pocket a little bit.
Open is LaFell, and it's intercepted. Nolan Carroll.
Tell you one thing Miami does is they disguise their coverages very, very well.
There is a flag down on the end of the play, too.
And I don't think Cam Newton ever saw Nolan Carroll, who undercut that route for the interception.
Return down inside the 20.
After the play, unnecessary roughness, 77, defense, 15-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal, push down.
Nolan Carroll, the fastest player in that secondary, swooped in and took it away.
And he is out to the left. He's out at the perimeter. Cam Newton never thought for a minute he was going to break off the perimeter and come to the slot receiver right down the seam and undercut that route for an interception. They got Cam Newton right there with the disguise and the switch.
That's his second interception of the season. He got the start for Dimitri Patterson. The penalty was on Byron Bell. Sets the Dolphins up nicely.
Go!
Daniel Thomas works down inside the 6. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. The Dolphins have had the upper hand on the Carolina Panthers as we near the half. Miami leads, and they have the football. Cam Newton had been playing error-free football. That's his 9th interception, but he hadn't thrown one since the victory against the 49ers up in San Francisco.
He got tricked that time by Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator, lining those guys up in coverage. Really good.
The Dolphins can get a first down before a touchdown. They have all 3 timeouts. Tannehill underneath, juggled, and right to the 5-yard line is Daniel Thomas. Let's take a look at what you mean by tricked. And we know the speed of Nolan Carroll because LaFell was open.
Well, Cam Newton's looking out here and is reading this corner, Nolan Carroll, and is saying, okay, this guy's got deep third or perimeter coverage at the very least, and look at him peel off that perimeter and go undercut that seam route to Brandon LaFell. Really well done.
He has been harassed all day, has Cam Newton, and Joe Philbin has dialed up the right calls against Cam Newton, and now they have a 3rd and 4 from the 5-yard line of Carolina. With all of their timeouts, and looks like we're going to see Miami use one now. Some indecision, so they will have 2 timeouts remaining. The story of the first half, and Tim, you said, would this be the game? Well, there's one big play that Mike Wallace had, 53 yards for the touchdown here, as he has over 100 receiving yards. And Tannehill over 200 passing yards, giving it to a young fan there.
I love that. Well, that's certainly the story, the 2 deep balls, and fans have been waiting for that since Mike Wallace got here. And 2 great catches because they weren't good throws from Ryan Tannehill. So that's the huge story on offense. And then defensively, are you kidding me? Cam Newton and this Carolina offense with 59 total yards.
And they first half, they set the tone early, getting after Cam Newton and hitting him hard. Now 3rd down on offense for Miami.
Empty set. This ball obviously coming out quick.
Ryan Tannehill, end zone throw, incomplete. Man, did he get hammered? Rashard Matthews had it. And here comes a flag.
Well, and Luke Kuechly just blasted him. And he had no chance to protect himself. That will be the definition of hitting a defenseless receiver. If you hit him anywhere in the V of the neck or higher. Here it is. Yeah, helmet to helmet. That's a good call.
Yeah, you can't lead much. It's a different kind of NFL. Although it looked like he got his forearm out there. But
yeah,
the helmet...
but you saw the other look, and there was definite helmet-to-helmet contact. That's a great throw from Ryan Tannehill, I'll tell you that.
There's no foul for unnecessary roughness.
All right, so Scott Green, the officials discussed it, and maybe this is Luke Kuechly. He's getting a break when the flags are thrown in the end zone. We all saw what happened against New England on Monday night. Let's watch this in regular speed, and the officials can watch it in a number of ways.
It looked vicious. Well, it sounded vicious.
But he got the forearm.
Watch the helmet, though. Watch the helmet to the jaw of Rashard Matthews. That's right. 2 weeks in a row, 2 big breaks for Luke Kuechly. Fouls in the end zone. Flags picked up.
Caleb Sturgis. And we're going to have a timeout before he tries a field goal.
This is their 2nd charge.
The Dolphins are going to use the timeout.
Yeah, Joe Philbin wants to talk to Scott Green.
Now, you can't challenge that. That's not a challengeable.
No. Yeah, look at, come over here. I want to talk to you. Look at him.
Scott will have to do some of that lobbying that he's so well prepared for. Well, even with a field goal try and a missed opportunity, Miami in the driver's seat as they will go to the half. Carolina will get the football to start the second half.
Here's another look at it, Chris. Great throw from Ryan Tannehill. Obviously defenseless right there at that point, Rashard Matthews, and gets blasted by Kuechly.
It looked like Joe Philbin was arguing that it was a catch. Did he have his feet down and then possession? That's debatable. Now that, I guess you could challenge that if it's ruled incomplete. It doesn't matter. Field goal is good by Caleb Sturgis. He's 3 for 3 today. Let's take a closer look at this with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and our rules analyst, former vice president of officiating, Mike Pereira, is with us. Mike, your view.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe Philbin has a real strong point about it being a hit on a defenseless player. It is. They should have stayed with that, at least in my opinion. It's a hit around the shoulder, the neck or head area. The one thing it is not is a catch.
Right.
Because since the contact came before the second foot was on the ground, before he had completed the process of a catch, he must hold on to it when he hits the ground. Ball pops out immediately when he does. But it is certainly, I think, and there's been a few flag pickups today, but this is certainly one where they should have stayed with, because I do think that was an illegal hit on a receiver.
So do I. Mike, take us through the process of, on a judgment call, picking a flag up.
Well, I think it's somebody that's going to come in and give you a second opinion. You throw the flag, and of course we saw that last Monday night. You know, you throw the flag because you think you have a foul, and then somebody comes in and offers up some other information, which then may lead you yourself, if you're the one that threw the flag, to pick it up. You know, but to me, again, when it comes in the area of player safety, you know, I think you got to be careful picking up flags, and I don't think they should have there.
Thank you, Mike Pereira. The touchback, and of course, you couldn't challenge anyway. It's inside of 2 minutes for Philbin, so it's an automatic booth review, but he used his timeout to at least argue his case, and we had clarification. It does seem like there are a lot of flag pickups, but still time for Cam Newton here. No timeouts, but just over a minute to play. Trailing now by 13. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with all the highlights, scores from around the league. Tampa Bay leading the Lions. Rams ahead of the Bears. Vikings are leading at Green Bay. And a bit of a surprise here. Cam Newton underneath, and going nowhere is Jonathan Stewart. Jimmy Wilson with a quick tackle, and you said it early, and maybe it was because Cam Newton got hit in the short week. I'm not making excuses, give the Dolphin defense credit, but he looks off his game, and Miami has had a lot to do with that.
But they're just getting consistent pressure on Cam Newton, and I guarantee you one thing, they wish they had one of those timeouts left.
Complete for Gibb. And Nolan Carroll, who had the interception that set up the field goal moments ago, was there on the coverage, and now it's 3rd down and 8. There's just something about the emotional high that Ron Rivera was cautious against, alerted his team right away, even last night, about coming into a place like this after big wins.
Well, Ron knows as a player what it's like. I mean, a lot of great years in Chicago as a terrific linebacker. He gets it. It's an emotional game played by emotional people, and Carolina lacking that emotion today.
0 for 6 on 3rd down, and they finally are going to convert. That's their first conversion, and this was the #1 team with Cam Newton on 3rd down coming into the game.
And really no sense of urgency here as that clock continues to tick down. You could have rushed to the line and got that thing spiked for about 4 extra seconds if they sped it up a little bit.
Cam Newton has run the ball 1 time. He's 7 out of 16 for only 55 yards, suffered the interception.
Look at that. Look at that.
It's on today, baby. Coming at you live in HD. 1, 2, 3.
Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Back here in South Florida, the Dolphins kicking off and shocking the Panthers in front of the home folks with a 16-6 lead. Cam Newton has yet to really get going. He's run the ball just once, suffering an interception. Sturgis has 3 field goals for Miami.
I'm not so sure Cam Newton's been right since that first play of the game when he got hammered by Cameron Wake.
Ted Ginn from his end zone, right at the goal line, dancing his way up across the 16-yard line. Hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. Well, the Panthers, we know about the 6-game winning streak. They've trailed just 1 time at the half during the entire season. They came back to win that game against San Francisco. It's a 2-score game here. So what do they have to do to make up the difference?
Well, number one, they got to stop Mike Wallace on defense with the big play. Those 2 big bomb shots certainly hurt him. And then I'd like to see him offensively if Cam Newton's okay.
Greg, fans.
Turn him loose. Get his motor revved up. Some designed runs, some read zones, some bootlegs. Get him outside the pocket because their O-line has not been able to hold up with that pressure.
On first down, Cam Newton to throw, and a one-handed effort from Greg Olsen. Let's head down to the field. Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, I had to wait my turn at halftime to talk to Coach Ron Rivera because players like tackle Byron Bell wanted to talk to him first about the lack of urgency on this team and how to fix it in the second half. And Tim, your suspicions about Cam Newton are correct. Rivera tells me that initial hit at the beginning of the game did jar him, and he needs to settle in. Chris?
Well, we're in the third quarter as Cam Newton floats the pass to D'Angelo Williams. The hit that we're talking about, and Tim, you said if Cam Newton's right. Well, we met with him last night. He was fine, but this was in the early stages of the game. Cameron Wake setting the tone for that Dolphin defense. And they had to use a timeout.
Well, Cam was spitting blood after that over on the sideline. Here it is right there after that timeout. And he just has not looked like the normal Cam Newton that we see every Sunday, which is a tremendous sense of urgency and running away from guys. Seen defensive linemen run him down today. They're just dialing up these pressures.
On third down, the catch made for a first down. As Steve Smith, he goes to the veteran when he needed it the most.
And that was a wobbler, too, that found his mark from Cam Newton. Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator in Miami, he is just turning this pressure loose. Let's see if Cam Newton, as he throws it, yeah, his arm got hit right there by the blitzing Philip Wheeler. Steve Smith still came down with it.
After a gain at 12, on first down, airing it out. That's Ted Ginn running for it, and he can't hold on. If he would have held on, he'd be in the end zone by now.
Nolan Carroll, their fastest player on defense for Miami, just gets run by Ted Ginn. The former Dolphin, who's clearly got high octane, can go, and that ball should have been caught.
Now it's 2nd and 10, and Ginn said no hard feelings about coming back to Miami.
I'm going to try that again if I'm Mike Shula later in the game, because they're going to continue to get those one-on-one matchups.
Got a whistle before Hickson could move with the football.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down. Number 11.
That's on Brandon LaFell. Thank you, Scott Green. As we check these statistics from halftime, we showed that clock and talked about how Carolina usually takes control of things. Well, they haven't in this game.
You see that 116 yards, 29 of those were right at the end on that play to LaFell down the sideline. I've been impressed with Ryan Tannehill. 12 completions, over 200 yards. You love that yards per attempt. But he's thrown, Chris, to 9 different receivers, 9 different targets and 12 completions.
That's it.
On 2nd down, Cam Newton has room to run. He's pointing for some blocking and gets up near the first down. And his second run of the day may also be short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about a yard.
And that's what I was talking about with Cam Newton. He's got to get his motor going. And if he sees a crack in that pass rush, and defensive linemen being undisciplined with their rushing lanes, he's got to exploit it. He's got to go like you just saw.
Extra lineman in on 3rd and 1 from the 41. Panthers' first possession of the second half after they got a field goal right before the break. That's Mike Tolbert. The fullback falls forward. There wasn't any place to go.
This should be an interesting spot here.
Philip Wheeler was the guy who got to him.
That spot looks like it's going to be short.
The yellow line superimposed to help us. It's not an exact science. And where that spot is, it doesn't look good. Now, how aggressive are you? Ron Rivera told us he's a gut guy, but he also pays attention to statistics and numbers and trends. On 4th and less than a yard. No punter coming out. The Panthers at their own 41.5 are going for it. Cam Newton has it, and he's got the first down. A terrific play call and execution from number 1.
He's going to run a little quarterback power up inside. Cam's going to get it. He's going to follow his pulling offensive lineman, Nate Chandler, right there. If you don't touch Cam Newton before he gets to the line of scrimmage with that big body, he's typically going to get 4 or 5 yards.
And I appreciate, as a fan of the game, Ron Rivera going for it this early, the confidence in his team, especially the way they had struggled on 3rd down. They come through on 4th.
Got a lot of faith in his superstar.
Greg Olsen inside the 40 of Miami. Well-delivered ball from Cam Newton. This year, and maybe Ron Rivera knew the numbers, Carolina 6 of 8 on 4th down tries. They go to the line without a huddle, a 12-yard pickup.
A great way to tire out a defensive line that's been all over Cam Newton today. This up-tempo, get those guys running, get them tired.
Here you go. I stutter. Ringo. Set.
D'Angelo Williams knocked down just across the 36-yard line. Steve Smith has 3 catches in the game along with Greg Olsen. There's your top receivers, and the running game has just not been there.
Well, they haven't been able to block those middle linebackers, Chris. I mean, you just saw right there the 2 of them, Ellerby and Philip Wheeler, were both in on that tackle. They played well today.
Set. Cam Newton is going to have to run away, and he does. Goes out of bounds, flipping the football with a first down.
A superstar of his caliber starts to get a little confidence. Watch out if you're Miami's defense, because he looks totally different here in the second half after a couple of big plays than Cam Newton did in the first half.
Just over 10 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. And for a team that has lived with the long drive, this is the first time today that they've moved the ball more than 5 minutes on a drive.
And as you saw, these touchdowns have typically ended in these drives, these long ones, touchdowns for Carolina.
Jonathan Stewart with one of the better runs of the day for Carolina.
Boy, Ryan Khalil, we just talked about getting those linebackers blocked. What an advantage when you can pull your center and get him out leading the way. Watch Ryan Khalil right here. And watch this block on Donnell Ellerby. Bang! Moves him 5 yards and gives a lot of room for Jonathan Stewart to get the first down. Awesome.
4th game back for Stewart after the ankle injury kept him out at the start of the season. D'Angelo Williams carries this time. And he's down inside the 10. Falling around the 6.5, 7-yard line.
Love play repeaters, and Mike Shula just dials up the same play the other way. And not Jonathan Stewart, but to D'Angelo Williams, and Ryan Khalil out leading the way again.
You can see the sweat on the brow of Ron Rivera. Under a lot of heat when the team started out slowly, but getting a lot of pats on the back after the 6-game winning streak.
Watch the read option right here with these receivers split wide.
Hand off D'Angelo Williams. Look at him fight. On 2nd and 1, and he got the first down. Mentioned offensive coordinator Mike Shula, who is, of course, the son of Don Shula, brother of Dave Shula, working so well with Ken Dorsey, the former Hurricane quarterback on the sideline, who calls in the plays to Cam Newton, and now 1st and goal from the 5.
And both have done a fine job here developing Cam Newton in his 3rd year. He is a different quarterback. 101 at the top.
Cam Newton, and he's got a touchdown. He made it look easy, working his way through that Dolphin defense. And as is his tradition, he looks for, whether home or away, a Panther fan somewhere.
I love the way that Mike Shula and Ron Rivera have decided to put the ball right back into their best player's hands, Cam Newton, and what a huge impact on that scoring drive by the quarterback. Also got a great block up front by Byron Bell on the touchdown.
A 14-play drive covering 83 yards. The extra point good. nearly 7 minutes. And that's how the Panthers have won 6 straight. Cam Newton, his 83rd career touchdown through the air or on the ground. Along with producer Mike Burks, our director Michael Frank, Cam Newton on first down, running it into the end zone to get the Panthers to within 3. Marcus Thigpen is back. Goodell hangs this one, and he's got it from the 1. And he almost got loose. There's a flag thrown in on the end of the play.
Illegal blocking back, number 84. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Call on Michael Agnew, so that'll back the Dolphins up, who are in a tighter game now. But Cam Newton has become the leading rusher today for the Panthers after the touchdown. Panthers offensive coordinator Mike Shula grew up in Miami, and of course Don Shula, the Hall of Famer, Dolphin coach. They asked Don who you're rooting for, and he said, I'm going to be right down the middle here. You know, my son to do well. I want the Dolphins to do well. And they actually are both doing well. It's a Dolphin 3-point lead.
Go, go!
After the penalty put him at the 10, here comes another flag. You saw the sign too.
Yeah, they're going to get Starr and Lotulelei.
Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They call it on Frank Alexander. We mentioned Mike Shula. Here's the Shula family. That's also Dave, who is a former coach with the Bengals, who oversees the restaurant.
Mike looks exactly the same. Look at him.
Yeah, except the glasses haven't changed a little bit. He's done a terrific job. There he is, very bashful about the return here. So I just want to do my job, get in, visit, and move on.
Go, go!
Tannehill's throw complete. Rashard Matthews spinning around and falling forward. Maybe picked up an extra yard or 2 after the grab.
And Miami going to those perimeter screens. That's a play that gave Carolina some problems, certainly last week against the New England Patriots. You do that, you got to break tackles. Rashard Matthews could not break free from Mike Mitchell.
Joe Philbin emphasized that to his team and told us, Tim, we do need to break more tackles, whether it's running backs, you get to one level, receivers. If we're going to score more, and that's the other thing Dolphin fans want, is more points.
You got one-on-one if you want to take a shot up at the top.
Pass is caught. That's Charles Clay. Man, was he hit and knocked down by Captain Mutterley. Oh, Captain. And now a 3rd down for Tannehill. Without a huddle, all they need is a yard. Hartline has a first down.
Tannehill is doing such a nice job with ball distribution. I mean, hard to get a tendency on where he's going to throw the football, Chris. He's been mixing it up and throwing it to everybody.
And his receivers have held on to it. 4th catch of the game for Hartline. That leads all receivers.
Now.
9 different receivers have caught a pass from Tannehill. He rolls to his right. And throws for Wallace, incomplete. Frank Alexander put the pressure on Tannehill.
I think we can now make the statement they are missing Charles Johnson. I mean, you look at that, 23 dropbacks, 1 sack. They've only hit him 4 times in 3 hurries. And Carolina's best pass rushers not playing in this game with a bad knee.
Only a sprain. They hope that Johnson will be back soon. Pass is high, but the catch made by Matthews. Well, let's check in for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
All right, the Chiefs trying to get back to their winning ways. Jamal Charles' 1-yard touchdown run put them up 21-17 on San Diego in the 3rd. But Chris and Tim, they've lost Tamba Hali and Justin Houston on defense to injuries, at least for now.
All right, thank you, Kurt. Injuries, and of course the Chiefs, who were the last of the unbeaten teams when they fell last week to Denver, and The Dolphins' perfect season remains the only one in the history you saw Don Shula moments ago of the National Football League. On third down, Tannehill's throw is on target. Deion Sims' third catch of the year, but Luke Kuechly was right with him.
Well, that's just a great adjustment because Luke Kuechly has been up in the box, challenging as a blitzer, but then challenging here, but then dropping out. And the receiver, the tight end, has been staying with a seam. Well, this time they run the out route, and Tannehill makes a great read. Sims wide open. And we're close to the first down.
Going to get a measurement here. That's how close it is. We already had one of those that was ruled a first down by Cam Newton, challenged by the Dolphins, and it was overturned.
Kuechly, that's going to be a first down. Kuechly has been taking away that seam route to the tight end all day from playing up at the line of scrimmage. That time they showed him the same formation and ran an out route instead of a vertical route with the tight end wide open for the first down.
Kuechly leads the NFL in tackles. Last year he was Rookie of the Year. The season before, Cam Newton was Rookie of the Year. The Panthers, it's only happened 4 times that an NFL team has had back-to-back Rookie of the Years. It was Star Lutulele. They're in the hunt for another.
You got him.
First down, Dolphins from their own 32.
Go.
Lamar Miller slips a tackle in the backfield. But he can't get away at the 22 from Kuechly. As if cued by the stage manager.
This guy was born to be a middle linebacker. I mean, his desire to get to the football, get some great penetration in front of him, but just watch his motor. Look at him close the gap on Lamar Miller. Since Luke Kuechly has moved to middle linebacker, you talked about all the tackles, Chris. He basically just chalked him down for 12.5 tackles a game. Incredible.
Set a Panther record with 205 tackles last year. Tannehill, room to run, but he airs it out. That's Mike Wallace. He overthrew him.
I think you just continue to go to this play until Mike Wallace can't breathe anymore because he's so tired. He's got no problem getting open, and it's just a slow and go. And when I say that, Chris, he really gauges his speed. Overthrown right there, coming off the line of scrimmage, and he comes off slow, kind of lulls the defensive back to sleep, and then turns on the gas, and nobody's going to run with him.
And it doesn't matter who the defensive back is. They've tried different people on him today, from Munnerlyn to Thomas to White to the safeties. 3rd and 19 after Tannehill missed. Here he connects. Marlon Moore stopped short of the 35-yard line, and it'll be 4th down. Brandon Fields will come on and line up for the punt. Luke Kuechly, I like your comparison, said it reminds you a little bit of Brian Urlacher.
Yeah, he does.
The way he moves around and also the way he gets people in position.
Very smart and just thirsts for more knowledge in terms of his football intelligence, and has become a full-blown leader on this defense only in year 2.
And he is fired up on that Panther sideline. No fair catch. The ball sticks inside the 5 and rolls forward a little bit. But an excellent punt by Fields without a return. Kuechly and the defense does its job. Let's see what Cam Newton can do. After a 56-yard punt inside their own 9-yard line, the Panthers trailing by 3. Now the Panthers' last 2 possessions, Tim, they've gotten a field goal and a touchdown. So Cam Newton starting to run around a little bit again. He's the leading rusher in this game on either team.
Yeah, you see that 52 rating for the game right at the end of the first half. That was rolling up at about 27. He's clearly gotten better here in the 3rd quarter.
Jonathan Stewart is the running back. He gets the carry and flip in the air. Acrobatic running play as Rashad Jones from his safety spot came up to hit him.
And that's a business decision right there in terms of hitting Jonathan Stewart. You better get him down near the leg. He is, and I mean like knee and below, because he is so thick in the lower body. Well done by Rashad Jones.
It'll be 2nd down 7.
Sit. Wait. Leo. Sit. Leo. Wait.
Cam Newton for LaFell, incomplete. It was high and short of the first down.
I think Cam Newton felt the pressure coming from his backside that he couldn't see. And anytime you unload the ball early as a quarterback, watching them all throw, Chris, for so long, that ball usually is going to come out a little bit high if it comes out early, and that time it did.
On 3rd and 7. Incomplete. Carolina's 3 of 11 on 3rd down. That was intended for Ted Ginn. Remember their last drive, it took a 4th down play from Cam Newton to keep the drive alive, and then he got him into the end zone.
And he really didn't need to unload that ball as soon as he did. I know the receiver flashed open, probably would have got tackled before the first down line anyway, but it was only a 3-man rush. Give Coyle some credit, the defensive coordinator. He's really been mixing it up on Cam Newton today.
Kevin Coyle upstairs calling the defensive plays for Miami. Northman in his own end zone. The punters have been busy and have delivered today. Marcus Thigpen from inside the 40. And swarmed as he tried to get toward midfield. A 49-yard punt and a 10-yard return. A look from above as the Dolphins have the lead and the football. Statistically, coming into the game, Ryan Tannehill was the worst deep thrower, but he's done his part today with the big play. He's had underthrows and overthrows.
28. Go. 28. Go.
From midfield on first down. Underneath, Lamar Miller. Knocked down. Now, Tannehill told us, he said, when a guy's open downfield, I have a tendency, because he's so open, to kind of just get it there. I have to look like I have to throw it like he's covered.
Well, I think what happens is you start to press rather than play. And Ryan Tannehill sees how open Mike Wallace gets, and then his thought process changed. I got to be perfect. I can't miss. And inadvertently end up missing.
On 2nd and 3.
Right you up. Big Leo. Right you up. 28. Go.
Pass is complete. Lamar Miller has a first down. Over on the Panthers sideline, they are working on the hand, or at least they were, checking the hand of Cam Newton.
Well, and that was the throw that we talked about where it came out early to Brandon LaFell over on the sideline, because he got hit from behind, and that was the play that had happened on him.
He has taken a beating today. Meanwhile, Tannehill, who came in as the most sacked quarterback, has been sacked just once. Tannehill, one of 3 quarterbacks who's taken every snap this year. Flacco and Stafford, the other 2. Miller's in trouble. The Panthers swarm him at the 42-yard line. A flag comes in late.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. First down.
The call on the veteran Tyson Clabo. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download it now.
Well, I give Ryan Tannehill a lot of credit. You talked about all the sacks, all the hits that he has taken. I mean, that guy's toughness and resiliency, something to be said for.
Penalty, it makes it 1st and 20 with a 4-man rush. He dumps it off to Daniel Thomas, who maybe gets a yard before Munderland gets him. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Well, we showed you the Chiefs taking the lead. Now they give it back. 2 plays after Alex Smith threw a pick. Danny Woodhead with a 3-yard score. Chargers up now, 24-21 in the 3rd. Chris and Jeff.
Thanks, Kurt. That Charger team was in a close game here last Sunday before losing to the Dolphins. Daniel Thomas, the injured player, slow to get up. Dolphins' second leading rusher for the season, Daniel Thomas. That left ankle twisted on the tackle.
Yeah, it didn't look good. You see the way Munnerlyn ripped him to the ground right there with his whole body and just rolled up his lower left leg in the process.
Marcus Thigpen, the only other back active other than Lamar Miller, as the clock runs down in the third quarter. The Dolphins facing a 2nd and 20. Will let it roll down to protect a 3-point lead. The Panthers' win streak is on the line here in South Florida. We've completed 3 quarters. Cam Newton has tried to rally the Panthers. They're close, but the Dolphins lead 16-13 as we head to the 4th quarter. The Carolina Panthers trying for a 7th straight win, which would equal a franchise record. Cam Newton has been battered around against the Dolphins, who are trying to get to 6 and 5. And have the lead to start the 4th quarter. On 2nd and 20, Tannehill's pass. He was hit as he threw it, and it'll be 3rd down.
This should be a great 4th quarter. I mean, you think of the Carolina Panthers, it seems like every game comes down to the final period. For Ron Rivera, he's asking himself the question, who's going to make that play here in the 4th quarter? And really the same on the other side for the Miami Dolphins. Chris, 7 of their 10 possessions, or 7 of their 10 games have come down to the final possession. Joe Philbin's wondering the same thing. Who steps up?
Their last 3 games decided by 4, decided by 3, decided by 2. Tannehill on 3rd down to Wallace underneath, and he can't break a tackle. And an important stand by Captain Munnerlyn and the Panther defense. The Panthers, the knock used to be, at least in the run of Cam Newton and Ron Rivera, they can't win the close games. But this year they've changed that. And they're trying for a 7th straight win.
I think part of that is we talked about how Cam has modified the way he plays and less risk, certainly, and less mistakes. But Cam's never had this kind of defense to support him in his 2+ years here.
He can afford to be patient with that kind of defense even without Charles Johnson. Fields owns it and hangs it high. Fair catch called for at the 10 by Ted Ginn. Fox tomorrow. Don't miss the show that has critics raving. Almost Human. They say it's gripping, groundbreaking, and has one of TV's most irresistible duos. Don't miss an all-new episode, Almost Human, tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Panthers are backed up, but on their touchdown drive coming out in the 3rd quarter, they marched more than 80. Down by just a field goal here with just over 14 minutes to go. Let's check in with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, no official injury report from the Panthers, but Cam Newton did have that right hand wrapped up on the sideline. Looked like maybe his right index finger was bothering him. As you can see, he's back in now. He did warm up. It looks like he's going to give it a go despite the nick.
D'Angelo Williams, the carry. Knocked down after a yard. Cam Newton, 5 carries for 35 yards. He leads all rushers today, and he only had run 1 time prior to halftime. He's 13 out of 26, 127 yards in the air.
Yeah, and they have, up until the 3rd quarter, he had a couple of nice runs, had the touchdown on the read zone, but this defense for Miami have closed all those running lanes throughout the day. Olivier Vernon has been fantastic, number 50, all season, really, for Miami.
Brandon LaFell lines up in the backfield. Cam Newton to throw from his 2. He's going deep for Ginn. Incomplete. The coverage was good by Nolan Carroll.
There's double coverage. You see Carroll knows he's got a little help inside of him. You see Chris Clemens coming over from the inside. Just well done, staying on the top shoulder by Nolan Carroll. You knew they were going to come back to Ted Ginn, though. He had the drop earlier, as open as he was going down the sidelines earlier in the game.
3rd and 8. Cam Newton. Pass is caught on the sideline by Steve Smith. And a big first down to get the Panthers out of the hole.
That's a good job by Cam Newton staying in the pocket that time, because there was man coverage across the board. But what Miami did on defense is they really spied with those 2 linebackers underneath, Wheeler and Ellerby. Cam recognized it. Instead of peeling out of the pocket and trying to make a play with his legs, he just dropped a nice throw to Steve Smith in one-on-one coverage.
As Cam Newton said, I don't have to do everything now. I have to do something. And here he lines up with a direct snap to D'Angelo Williams on the Wildcat. Cam Newton, as a receiver, was up at the top of your screen. Cam Newton said, even in meetings, I don't have to give speeches to everybody. Some of the other guys are doing that. Ron Rivera talked about Mike Tolbert and Thomas Davis, veterans, even Travell Wharton, that hold the locker room together.
That offensive line, those veterans who have been here for a long time, they've taken a lot of pressure off of Cam Newton.
Steve Smith has reached 12,000 yards receiving in his career after that last catch. In the top 25 all time for him. On 2nd and 7. D'Angelo Williams falls short of the 30-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down.
I am so impressed when I watch Olivier Vernon play the game. Number 50. I mean, he's an undersized guy, but he is down with the heavy hitters in the traffic a lot during the course of a game, and he does more than hold his own.
Steve Smith has been clutch in these situations. On 3rd down, the Panthers are 4 out of 12. Remember, they came in as the top team in that department. Newton from the pocket, throws, and incomplete. He was trying to get it to Greg Olsen.
Well, he's lucky that wasn't picked off, Chris. That ball came out late, and Chris Clemens made a great break on it.
Marcus Thigpen back to receive the punt.
Jimmy Wilson closing from the outside, Clemens closing from the inside. These coverages have given Cam Newton some problems when they get into some of those combination zone looks.
Marcus Thigpen from the 10. Knocked out across the 22-yard line. Colin Jones making the special teams play. A 12-yard return after a 60-yard punt. Steve Smith pointing out a few things, I'm sure. Ricky Kroll, the former receiver, his coach.
I told you, Ricky, I was open.
He's always open. Tim Ryan, Jennifer Hale, Chris Myers, NFL on Fox here in the 4th quarter. Miami protecting a 3-point lead. Tannehill to Wallace. He goes down right away. The Dolphin offense has not scored a 4th quarter touchdown in the last 6 games. Their last offensive touchdown week 5 against Baltimore.
Well, remember, they did it week 3 here against Atlanta the last time we were here to Deion Sims, really to end and win that game.
His first career catch, and was a touchdown catch.
That's right.
To send Atlanta spiraling.
And no one expected him to make a play that day. Who's going to get it done today for the Miami Dolphins?
2nd and 6, blitz coming, and threw it a little bit behind, but a nice catch by Wallace for a first down. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. Thanks, Kurt. Seesaw affair there. The Dolphins have taken hold of the lead at 13-3, then made it 16-6 at the half, and are leading at the 10-minute mark. Lamar Miller. Daniel Thomas was taken to the locker room on a cart. Remember, his lower left ankle, that left leg, suffering an injury. He is officially questionable. It looks like another Dolphin player is down in pain.
Yeah, Sam Brenner, the guard, holding his left knee. Sam Brenner, the free agent from Utah, on the sideline of David Arkin,
second-year player. Number 66 takes his spot on the offensive line.
They got to heat it up for Charles Clay. It's time.
Second down, Tannehill can run. He's got a first down. All the way inside the Panther 43.
The more Ryan Tannehill can do this to a defense, the better. He wants Charles Clay over the middle of the field. Luke Kuechly basically grabs him, pulls him down, doesn't let him get out. Tannehill sees it and creases the defense, exploits him with his legs. Need to see more of that out of Tannehill, who is a much better athlete than advertised.
A 19-yard run. I asked him about it Friday, and he said, if I have to run more, I will. Lamar Miller straight ahead. Dolphins moving the ball and chewing up the clock, but it's only a 3-point lead. Tannehill, for all the hits he has taken this year, the sacks, 42, physically he's held up well. He said, I feel fine. Part of that is, remember, he played receiver in the college game and took a lot of hits, so his body has absorbed that on a regular basis.
You don't catch 112 balls in college and go over the middle of the field and get rocked and not have some toughness and durability to you.
All the way back at the 47, Thomas Davis with the sack. It's the 43rd time this season that he has been sacked.
And there he is lining up off the edge. I mean, nice, good stunt move coming on the inside. I mean, Wes Horton cleared it out for him, and Thomas Davis just wraps and underneath. And once he wraps and gets a beat on the quarterback, you better forget it, because he's going to finish it with his speed.
On 3rd and 14.
2 over 1 on Mike Wallace at the bottom.
He's got time, but he's on the move. Can he run for a first down? No. But he may have put him in field goal range. Again, it was Thomas Davis making the play, and that amazing story of 3 ACL surgeries on that same right knee, as he continues to play well and keeps Tannehill from a first down. That sack by Tannehill, he joins Bob Greasy to share the Dolphin record for most times sacked in a season, a Dolphin quarterback at 43. Greasy, of course, announcing the game with Joe Rose, the Hall of Famer, and Jimmy Cephalo for the Dolphin radio audience. This will be a 53-yard try. He's made from 54 during the year. And no, Caleb Sturgis misses on a chance to widen the Dolphin lead.
And that didn't look like it had a chance right when it came off his foot.
Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. Well, the missed field goal, Tim Ryan, of 53 yards for the Dolphins. Not only do you lose points, you lose field position as well.
That's right. I mean, I get trying to make it a 6-point lead, and Sturgis had made a 54-yarder on the year, but as good as you've been playing defense, you just lost the field position game here against the Carolina Panthers.
From the 43-yard line, Cam Newton has all day to throw, and nobody open. Remember, Philip Wheeler told us, he said, if we're going to try and force Cam Newton to beat us with his arm, we don't want him running all over us.
Well, Cam sits in the pocket here, and there is nowhere to go with the ball. I mean, you just see everybody underneath and passing lanes. Got man coverage there at the top with help to the inside on Brandon LaFell. There's nowhere for Cam Newton to go with the football.
Goes nowhere. Olivier Vernon, he has shown his closing speed on the quarterback with help from Randy Starks. They made sure there was nowhere for Williams to go.
Yeah, Vernon was there to clean it up. The guys who wrecked it was Randy Starks and Paul Soliai with their penetration, the 2 defensive tackles.
Now 3rd and 12 from the 41. Newton gets rid of it. LaFell has it. He's got a first down in Dolphin territory near the 45-yard line. There's a flag down back at the 45 of Carolina. A 12-yard pickup.
Yeah, this is going on Carolina, I believe. You see the reaction from the Miami players.
Offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
Oh, that's a killer.
On Greg Olsen.
Here's Greg here, number 88. You got both of these linebackers inside that are, oh yeah, that's pretty obvious. He wrapped Vernon around the neck. Slowed him down just enough. Vernon still got a hit, but you had both of those inside linebackers spying Cam Newton.
Open is Olsen. Incomplete. Somehow Cam Newton got out of that.
You got to scratch your head. Olivier Vernon, what a great rush. And look at him. He's got Cam Newton wrapped up from the bottom. Cameron Wake hits him from the top. And the balance and strength of Cam Newton is incredible as he pulls away and gives his team a chance.
Under 6 minutes to play. Brian Nortman.
They should have 5 sacks in this game, Miami's defense. They just can't get Cam Newton to the ground. They only got 2.
Punting to Marcus Thigpen. Another strong kick from the 16. He does a lot of work just to get up near the 23 before Josh Thomas ran him out of bounds as Cam Newton is bottled up. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, full highlights, post-game reaction from Manning and Brady, and all the NBA, you need college basketball, NHL highlights, the best plays and moments, the ones of the week. Jay and Dan, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific at Fox Sports 1. Lamar Miller. Each team has all 3 of their timeouts. Under 5.5 to play.
This is where you'd love, if you're Joe Philbin and the Miami Dolphins, to really be able to run the football. And they have not had a lot of success running against Carolina today. You know, you can make anything you want out of stats in the NFL. Really about running is can you run it when you need to run it? And right now Miami needs to run it.
They've averaged 3 yards a carry today. That's it. That's what they got on the last play.
28, Joe.
Tannehill incomplete for Charles Clay. Let's check in with Joel Klatt for another game break.
Chris, coming up live on Fox from MetLife Stadium. Tony Romo and the 5-5 Cowboys. Eli Manning and the streaking Giants. 4 straight wins. They're 4-6. It's America's Game of the Week. It's next, and it's on Fox. Chris, Tim, and Jennifer.
And Joel, we look forward to that. The Eagles have the off week, and the Redskins play Monday night in that NFC East. It's 3rd and 7. Tannehill is going to have to roll to his left. Open is Clay, but he's incomplete. Hartline was open further downfield, but Tannehill didn't see him.
Well, because Tannehill was having to roll out the other way. He got flushed out of the pocket.
But an important defensive stand for the Panthers, who will get the ball back.
And really chewed hardly any time off the clock. And that's what you talked about. I mean, that first run, the clock was running, incomplete pass, another incomplete pass, and preserving precious seconds and minutes for Carolina.
They only took 43 seconds off the clock. And we're getting a challenge here on the catch on the sideline that was ruled no catch out of bounds by Clay.
Miami is challenging the ruling on the field.
Old Philbin's been pretty good on those challenges this year, too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's 4 out of 4 and 1 for 1 today. Ruled incomplete. Oh, that's a big challenge. Ruled no catch on the field. And challenged by the Dolphins.
I think Clay got his feet down. I just don't know if he finished the process of the catch. Matter of fact, I don't think he did.
The receiver had possession of the ball, both feet inbound. It was first down at the 38-yard line. Miami is not charged with a timeout.
Ron Rivera said, is there enough evidence to overturn that? What about possession?
Well, and that's the whole thing. I mean, I understand Scott Green sees his feet in. Charles Clay's feet are in right there. But as he goes down, watch the football. And maybe he had already established himself in bounds before he was pushed out of bounds by the defender. That's the only way I think Scott Green could come up with the conclusion that he did.
Rivera doesn't like it because there was already a flag picked up in this game, and Philbin's challenge, he's 2 for 2 today and batting 1,000 for the year. So the catch overturned an 11-yard gain and a new set of downs for the Dolphins.
I mean, you got to catch it past the ground, right? That clearly didn't happen for Charles Clay.
28, go!
From the 38, Tannehill for Wallace. Off his hands and incomplete. Let's bring in our rules analyst, Mike Pereira, for his thoughts on that play.
Hey, Tim, I agree with you totally. This is the process when you're going to the ground. They must not have looked that far into it because when he hit the ground, the ball came loose on his body. He's laying out of bounds. Take a look here. I do agree he gets the toes down, but now it becomes a process because he's going to the ground.
That's right.
And here you see the ball come loose. That's an incomplete pass.
And the difference between punting on 4th down and a 1st down, here comes a flag. Mike Pereira is saying if they didn't follow it all the way through, that's their job to do that. That's why we have officials and replay.
That's why we have Mike Pereira. He is awesome.
Start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Tyson Claybo, the call. You saying that just because he agreed with you on the call?
No, I'm not.
I'm kidding. You know,
He's been our MVP for about 3 or 4 seasons now since we got him.
Referees cringe around the league when he comes on, hoping for the review. There we go. See? You and Philbin are 5 for 5 this year.
There we go.
28,
2nd down pass. Clay will be knocked down inside the 35.
Wait, they have not been able to run after the catch today for the most part, the Miami Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins missed on a field goal. We have a Panthers timeout here. They're already thinking about trying to conserve the clock. The Jets lost to Baltimore. That's who Miami plays next. Meanwhile, the Panthers' remaining schedule, and they control their own fate in terms of games they can win. And, of course, 2 with the Saints.
Well, don't think this one's going to be easy right there. Tampa Bay is going to spoil it or try to spoil it for a lot of folks, I think.
The Saints are a game up, and they have to play at Seattle a week from Monday night. You know what happens when people go to Seattle.
Yeah, they lose.
A frustrated Steve Smith.
Victims of the avalanche up there in Seattle, right, when they get it going. Wow.
Luke Kuechly hoping the Panthers can get a stop. He thought they did the last 3rd down. It's 3rd and 11. Tannehill in the pocket. He has to flip it. Lamar Miller knocked down across the 45. A creative play by Tannehill and Miller, but not enough for the 1st down.
And good pressure on Ryan Tannehill as he's just got to flip it to Lamar Miller. Hardy forces him to step up in the pocket. Lotalele with good push. Watch Luke Kuechly. When this guy gets his hands on you, forget it. I mean, you're not going to get away from Luke Kuechly once he wraps you up.
Panthers with 2 timeouts remaining. Over 4 minutes to go. They're going to use one now to stop the clock. They don't want to let any more valuable time run off. So Carolina will have 1 timeout remaining. Well, the Panthers, Cam Newton, they've shown they can win the close games. We saw it on Monday night, those long sustained drives when they need it. And certainly their defense stepped up when they needed it on the road in San Francisco. And that's why they're going for their 7th straight, but trailing here.
Well, every game they play seems to be close. There's no doubt about it. And this is going to be a great finish. I mean, I am so excited to see, Chris, who's going to step up and make a play. And part of me thinks it's going to be Cam Newton. Whether he's running it or throwing it, he's going to have a big series here to get them right back in this thing.
The Dolphin defense emphasized if he's going to beat us, it's going to have to be with his arm against Cam Newton. Well, he's had a couple of key runs in the second half that has the Panthers back in it. And as soon as he gets the football back, we'll see how they play it. Into the end zone. That's a break for the Panthers, and they come out to the 20 on offense. For the Dolphins in the AFC playoff picture, I mentioned that the Jets already lost. They actually still have a shot at New England. Of course, the Patriots have to battle Denver. Miami gets another game against the Patriots, but they still play the Jets twice. And with all that Joe Philbin and this team has been through this year, and like he said, look, 30 years of coaching, I hope I'm doing something right. He is
doing a lot of things right.
He has leaned on people like Don Shula and John Madden during this difficult time to help him steer his team forward on the field, and they've helped him out.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I can almost predict that at the end of the day, any investigator is going to find out Joe Philbin has been, and always will be loaded with character and integrity.
Cam Newton underneath D'Angelo Williams. Now there's a flag down as he gets across the 35. The flag is on the far side on the Carolina sideline at the 21-yard line.
Now here's another thing to think about. I mean, we talked about Carolina, who's going to step up and make a play on offense. Defensively, 2 of their last wins for Miami, a defender has stepped up and made a play late.
Illegal formation, offense, wide receiver 89, covered the tight end, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, wipes out a 16-yard gain. Steve Smith called for it, wondering about it because penalties have hurt big gains. That's the 8th penalty accepted on the Panthers, and now they're backed up at the 15-yard line.
And think of the last 2 wins, just talking about what I just said, Chris, with the defense. You had Cameron Wake get the safety right in Cincinnati for the victory. Brent Grimes preserved the win with the interception in the end zone against San Diego. Can the defense do it again?
First down throw. Again. Can't get away. Brent Grimes. He's been their most consistent defensive player from the start of the season to right now.
That is a great play from Brent Grimes. And just as he burst up on this ball carrier out here on the perimeter screen, Ted Ginn, there's nowhere for Ginn to go. I mean, good recognition by Grimes, seeing it, little wide receiver screen. And he turned the juice on and got to Ted Ginn before he could think about running.
Cam Newton is going to run. And gets knocked down at the 20. Cameron Wake with closing speed. It'll be 3rd down. Cam Newton said, forget signature wins. I'm worried about the next game, the Dolphins. That's the win I'm worried about. Under 3 minutes, 1 timeout. 3rd and 10.
Now remember last week against New England, it was Ted Ginn late in the game who had the game winner for Carolina. There's Ginn right there.
Airing it out. It was for Ted Ginn, but there was Nolan Carroll again.
And that ball was underthrown. Ted Ginn had 2 steps on Nolan Carroll. Ted Ginn lines up inside, heads right for the sidelines, turns on the speed, and the ball's just underthrown. Greg Olsen, if he'd have broke that off inside, he'd have been wide open, but clearly Cam Newton had his eyes on Cam Newton.
And they're going on 4th down and 10 from their own 20 with 1 timeout.
Cam had his eyes on Ginn. Let's see where he goes this time.
Newton's throw on target. Steve Smith is still going. Up near the 40, 1st down Panthers.
And it looked like, what a great throw, first of all, but it looked like Clemens and Grimes just knocked each other off, Steve Smith.
Love the percentages. We have an injured player for Miami, Chris Clemens, the safety, but Ron Rivera figuring even if we don't get it, we hold him to a field goal that takes a touchdown. He wants control of the game in the hands of his offense and his veteran, Steve Smith.
That's a terrific throw, and that's what happens. I mean, Grimes and Clemens basically just bounced off of each other, and Steve Smith picks up extra yards.
A 19-yard gain. That for Smith is his 5th catch of the game as Clemens, kind of the leader of that secondary, the veteran, slow getting up.
Well, that is a huge play by Steve Smith. My goodness.
And some gutsy 4th down calls for Ron Rivera, considering where his team was on the field at the time they converted. Aggressively thinking. Ball actually spotted at the 39-yard line.
Slipped right out of that Dolphin sandwich, didn't he?
We'll have the 2-minute warning, and then all reviews will be from the booth at that point on. Carolina with 1 timeout. Miami has all 3. They should be hurrying to try and snap this before the 2-minute warning. And they do. Newton with time underneath. Sideline catch of the sunshine is Olsen. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. High drama in South Florida. Panthers have been hot. Miami has the lead, but Carolina has the ball. After the game, the Pepsi Game Break Show scores highlights from around the league and a lot of close games, a lot going on. Teams figuring in the playoff hunt like these two. All they need is a field goal to tie, but with 1 timeout. 2nd down 1.
Miami needs to keep doing what they've done all game, and that's send heat after Cam Newton. Don't get in prevent defense and prevent yourselves from winning.
Newton's throw batted in the air and incomplete. Graham Gano, statistically, his kick earlier that we believed was blocked has been changed to a miss because he kicked it, as we pointed out after further review, into his own man. He may be on the spot in this for a tie.
That's a nice job by Randy Starks there, just understanding the situation. Chris, you're not getting to the quarterback as a pass rusher. You just read him. As soon as he throws, get your hands up, big breakup.
The red line is the career long for Gano. If they get there, that's his range. Cam Newton trying to break a tackle. Gets outside and out of bounds. Here comes a flag as he was out of bounds, and a second flag. It's a wide smile over there.
That's the same play they got the touchdown on, and then
Personal foul.
Cam looked like he slipped and tripped and fell down.
Defense, 15-yard penalty. First down.
It looked like Rashad Jones, who touches him there, then trying to hold him up, and Cam trips and falls down.
You have that different surface over there for your cleats instead of the grass, so sometimes difficult to stop.
And it looked like Rashad Jones put his hands on Cam Newton before he was actually out of bounds.
Remember, Tim, the Dolphin defense said if Cam's going to beat us, he's going to have to beat us with his arm. Well, that time he ran it for 8, and with the help of the penalty, picked up 15 more. So 23 yards on that gain sets him up at the 29. They're already in range for Graham Gano. Cam Newton keeps again. Maybe a yard before Cameron Wake got him. Cam Newton has a touchdown run. The Dolphins are going to use a timeout here. Miami will have 2 remaining. Carolina has 1. And I guess the Panthers' strategy, Tim, is we're going to control the clock on the rest of this game, whether we get a touchdown to win it or at least a field goal trying to tie it. We don't want Miami to get the ball back.
No, the worst thing you could have right now is put that ball up in the air and have a turnover. That would be awful. Take a sack if you're Cam Newton, and if it being a long sack, you get pushed out of field goal range. So they'll play it close to the vest here, I would think.
Ryan Tannehill with a touchdown pass. In the first quarter, Miami took the lead. The Panthers have trailed the least of any NFL team the entire season, only 16%, but they've trailed most of this game. Had to rally from down 10 at the half and have a chance on 2nd down from the 29.
I think by all means they're not just going to rely heavily on the run here for the rest of this game, but if they do throw it, I think it'll be high percentage throws.
Cam Newton open is Ted Ginn. Down near the 21-yard line. It'll bring him 3rd and short. Tampa Bay defeated the Lions. We got a timeout for Miami, so they'll have one left. The Buccaneers will be in Charlotte to take on the Panthers next Sunday. Right now you're looking at about a 38-yard field goal for Graham Gano. He's made 2 today, a 52-yarder and a 46-yarder. But here he kicked it into the back of one of his own players.
And it wasn't like this was a long field goal attempt where he had to hit it as a line drive with a low trajectory. He just miskicked it and put it right into the back of Travell Wharton.
That was a 35-yard field goal attempt. Remember, Caleb Sturgis missed an important field goal, Tim, that would make this an entirely different game from 52 yards. But that was going in the other direction. There is a slight breeze. But 3rd down from the 21. Mike Tolbert is the back. They need 2 yards. Can Tolbert get it? Yes, he can. Powering his way down to the 7-yard line. The 5'9" butterball of a running back on a big 3rd down run.
Boy, I'm surprised Carolina's letting all this time click off here. They got to get to the line of scrimmage and get going.
They still have a timeout remaining. It's 1st and goal from the 6 after a 15-yard run by Tolbert. Tolbert has it again. Near the goal line. Clock running. And a timeout, Miami. They are out of timeouts. Tolbert limping after a couple of carries.
He's just a bowling ball here. This is the conversion on 3rd down. Just toss out to the big power back, I'll call him. And then here's the second one. Little read zone. Hands it underneath. And Tolbert just puts his shoulder down and comes up just short, it looked like, to the goal line.
He took less money to come back south and join. He played at Coastal Carolina to be a part of the Panthers. One of the veteran leaders that keeps it light in the locker room for the Panthers.
Keeps it light in the locker room. I like that.
Well, they said he jokes around and the spirits are high. And he's out of this game with an extra lineman in, Tim, on 2nd and goal for the lead. Dolphins are out of timeouts. Panthers have 1 remaining.
And there's the extra offensive lineman right there. Number 63, Jeff Hangard.
Jonathan Stewart, the back. Cam Newton has it, floats it, end zone, touchdown, Greg Olsen. And Carolina is on top. What a clutch drive from Cam Newton.
What a clutch call from Mike Shula.
Putting his signature on this game, but still 43 seconds left.
They didn't even have a wide receiver lined up on the field. Miami was thinking run the whole way. And Rashad Jones took the bait. Excuse me, Chris Clemens took the bait. Greg Olsen was wide open.
Graham Gano, after all that talk of a field goal, the extra point is what makes it a 4-point Panther advantage.
And there's Clemens out there, number 30. Greg Olsen's going to settle, and then he's just going to leak out. Little inside release. Nobody touches him. I mean, if you're Cameron Wake, you give a free release like that to a tight end like Greg Olsen. I mean, you're playing with fire. Hard to stop him if you don't slow him down on his release from the line of scrimmage.
Cam Newton battered around in the first half. Hung in there, scores on the ground, and then the pass. So this is the 19th game where Cam Newton has had at least a touchdown run and touchdown pass in the same game. He's that versatile, which is why the Panthers' 7-game winning streak is alive with seconds remaining. See what Joe Philbin's quarterback has left. That was an 80-yard, 12-play drive that took 3.5 minutes.
Cam Newton has been unbelievably better in the second half of this game.
And Dolphin fans will say, Tim, we wasted scoring opportunities when we were moving the ball and had Cam Newton on the ropes.
I'll tell you what, though, Cam Newton's hard to stop.
Well, they did in the first half.
Yeah, they did. I think part of that was obviously they did a great job, Miami, and give them credit, but Carolina was playing conservative in the first half. They never ran one option play for Cam Newton, never really turned him loose as a runner outside the pocket. That changed in the second half of this game.
Greg Olson's 5th touchdown catch of the season. And Cam Newton, 51 yards rushing today, and always the threat of the run keeps defenses on edge, and it made that touchdown pass look easy. Gano with a bouncer. Big Pen will grab it and be knocked down at the 11. Special teams for the Panthers cover it well, and a long way to go for a touchdown for Ryan Tannehill. Over 280 yards passing for Tannehill in this game.
I might put 2, maybe 3 on Mike Wallace and see if someone else can run by you.
With 38 seconds and no timeouts, how many plays do you have? Maybe 3 or 4. From the 14-yard line, Drayton Florence, the veteran, part of the coverage on Wallace, who has 5 catches for 127 yards and a touchdown. Hartline is open.
Problem is middle of the field, and that's going to chew up some clock.
To the 40, it's a first down. Tannehill trying to get him up there to snap it, stop the clock. A 26-yard gain. He's over 300 yards passing today. You want to at least get close enough to try a Hail Mary.
Yeah, 18 seconds, Chris. They got to work the sidelines. They got to work the sidelines, the deep outs, the deep comebacks, get it out of bounds, and as you said, get yourself into an opportunity where you can throw the Hail Mary up.
Pepsi Game Break coming up with highlights of the Buccaneers win. The Jets losing at Baltimore, and that Bears game. How about Jacksonville winning its 2nd game of the season, and high scoring between KC and San Diego.
Good ball.
Mike Wallace is out there. Oh, he had his hands on it. Twisting and turning. How did he get a chance to make that play?
Well, they're playing so deep with their safeties. You're going to see he's going to run away from Drayton Florence to the inside. Mike Mitchell is so deep, but an awful adjustment by Mike Mitchell right there, who lets Mike Wallace get behind him. Lucky that's not a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill got blasted as he unloaded it. How does Mike Wallace get that open? Wow.
10 seconds remaining on 3rd down from the Miami 40. Carolina fans holding their breath. Tannehill's got to get rid of it, or this will be over. It's over. The Carolina Panthers have won 7 in a row, tying the team record. Most consecutive regular season wins. They've done it twice. A key catch by Steve Smith, and touchdown run and throw from Cam Newton. The Dolphins fall to 5-6. Carolina to 8-3. For Jen Hale, Tim Ryan, I'm Chris Myers, our entire production crew. Thanks for watching the Panthers and Dolphins from South Florida. Let's head to Kurt Menefee in our NFL on Fox studios in Los Angeles.